What's up, y'all? It's Heat, and today I'll be showing you guys 3 ways to make your beats more interesting using transitions. Now, the reason to use transitions is to make your beats more interesting when it goes from one section of the beat to the next. One of the biggest examples I could think of this is EDM music. If you've ever heard EDM music before, they usually have a crazy build-up and a crazy drop. In the build-up, they usually have all these sounds and effects, and basically telling your ear that it's transitioning and something crazy is about to happen. And usually that's the drop. Now, that's what we need in hip-hop beats. We don't need the craziness, but what we need is a transition telling us that one section of the beat is going to end and another section of the beat is going to come in. So to show you guys, I'll be using FL Studio 20, but any of the techniques I show in this tutorial can be applied to any DAW. And I won't be showing you guys exactly how I did everything, but I will explain it, and once I do, you'll get the basic idea of what I did. So without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. So for method number 1, that's to use transition sounds. So what I have opened up is the latest beat I actually uploaded to my channel, which is called Piccolo Pete. What I'll be showing you guys is the transition from the intro to the chorus. So without any transition, here's what it sounds like. Alright, so I don't know if you guys heard what I did, but basically when the intro ended and the chorus came in, I felt like it was very abrupt. The chorus was. And since it's abrupt, I felt like the drums were coming on very strong. Now, I don't think the drums are too strong in the mix, but since the intro is just the piano, the drums do sound strong when they come in. So this is where the transition comes in. This is what it sounds like with the transition. So with the transition, what I hear now is that when the intro ends, there's a smooth transition from that into the chorus. The chorus is no longer abrupt, which means the drums are no longer too strong. That sounds perfect, in my opinion. Now, all I did was add a custom transition sound that I made. So if you guys want to use transition sounds, just go into your drum library. Almost every single drum library out there has transition sounds in it, whether it's the drum library that you've been collecting over the years or the drum library that comes stock with your DAW. Usually it's already inside those kits. But if you can't find any of those, just go to Google and search up free transition sounds, and I'm sure you'll find some. So that was basically how to use transition sounds and how I use the transition sound in this intro. For method number 2, that's to use transitions in your beat pattern. So what I mean by that is when you're making the beat, you can add transition in the patterns of the beat. A big example of this is DJ Mustard. For example, when he has a section of the beat, he usually has a clap or snare playing like normal, but then at the last bar, just before the next section comes in, he has a clap roll or snare roll working as a transition. And that's something that you guys could do too. You guys can use the clap or snare roll technique, but you can also have some different sound, whether it's a melody or a perk or whatever, playing a sound throughout the section of the beat. But just before the next section comes in, you switch up that pattern and have it play something else to work as the transition. Another way to add transitions to your beat pattern is to actually take away sounds from the pattern. And that's what I did here in this Piccolo Pete beat. And I'm still in the Piccolo Pete beat because method 1 was in the intro to the chorus. And method 2 is from the chorus to the first verse. So what I did to take away sounds from the chorus was at the last bar, where the last clap was supposed to hit, I took off the clap and dropped the sounds right where the clap was supposed to hit. And all I have left is the main piano sound. So I'm going to put these sounds back so they're not dropped out and show you guys what it sounds like with no transition at all. So here's what it sounds like with no transition. So obviously there's no real transition here. And to me, this can work, but I prefer to add a transition because it would be up to the artist to make sure that the chorus really sounds like a chorus and the verse really sounds like a verse. And since I'm the producer, I would rather just have a transition added when I make the beat. So that's what I did. So let me drop the sounds back out, show you guys what it sounds like with the transition. So here's what the beat sounds like with the transition. So with the transition, again, it's a smoother transition from the end of the chorus to the first verse. And all I did was take some sounds away. Now, even though it's more subtle than using a transition sound, your ear still can tell that something different happens since the sounds are dropped out, and it works as a transition sound. So that's basically how to add transition sounds into your beat pattern and how I added it to this beat. Now let's move on to method number 3. For method number 3, that's to use effects as transitions. What I mean by effect is something like growth speed, the Drake filtered effect, or even something like a tape stop. There's tons of effects out there. Now, what I have up is a different beat. I'm no longer in the Piccolo Pete beat anymore. This beat isn't mixed, but it sounds good enough for me to show you in this tutorial. So in this beat, what I use to transition from the intro to the verse is a tape stop. Now, for most of these effects, what you're going to have to do is actually automate them so it sounds good. And for the tape stop effect, right here where my cursor is, I have automation clips that turn the tape stop on and off since I only want it to be at certain parts of the beat. So let me turn off the tape stop. Okay, it's already turned off. So I'm going to go ahead and play the intro and some of the verse to show you guys what it sounds like with no transition. Like most of the other techniques I showed you without any transition, I feel like the verse comes in abrupt again. Now, with this beat, it's a little bit different. I feel like it's very abrupt because the sections are a little bit different, or I should say very different from each other, because this one in the intro is reversed and it's actually filtered. Now, when the main version of the melody comes in, it's very different. So the verse comes in very abrupt, and what I did was I added the tape stop so that instead of the verse coming in abruptly, what happens is the tape stop will come in abrupt and stop the sound, and then the main, or I should say the verse comes in and it's not so abrupt. So let me turn the tape stop back on and then show you guys what it sounds like with the transition. That was method 3, using effects as a transition. So that was basically 3 methods to using transitions to make your beats more interesting. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for more videos. Also hit the bell next to the subscribe button to be notified of when I do upload new videos. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at HEATWAVS. That's HEATWAVS, same as my YouTube channel name. Thanks for watching, and I'm out. Peace.